When we go out camping, hiking, bushcrafting, no matter why we're in the woods, eventually we all face the same problem in that the water that we've brought with us runs out. Sometimes it happens sooner rather than later, but depending on conditions, what you're doing, where you are, if you're cooking, if it's very hot, you can only carry so much water with you into the field. It's heavy. It's not practical to be able to carry 3 or 4 gallons, let's say, in your pack. So once that water runs out, you have to figure out a way of making the water that you find out in the woods safe enough for you to drink. Now, the easiest way to do that is to boil it. But boiling is not always practical because sometimes you're in an area that you can't light a fire. Conditions might be difficult to light a fire. And boiling has limitations also because while it kills living organisms that can make you sick, it doesn't remove sediment, it doesn't remove chemicals. All that stuff stays in the water that you ultimately consume. So the first thing I think you need to do when you go out is to figure out what is it that's in the water in the particular geographic location where you happen to be in that's going to cause you, to get sick if you don't remove that element from the water. In my area, one of the biggest problems is giardia, because I can drive 15 minutes from my house and go to a pond, and there are beavers in that pond. If I were to dip a cup into that pond water and take a sip, chances are I'm going to be drinking some giardia along with, the water, because those beavers have defecated in that water, and they don't call it beaver fever for nothing. So in order to avoid that, I have to treat that water. So over the years, I've spent a lot of money on water treatment systems here, because that's the one thing that you can have control over more than other things that can lay you up for a long time. I can't really help it if I happen to step on a hornet's nest, let's say, and get stung, but I have the ability to come across some stagnant water and treat that water so that it cuts my chances of getting sick. So all of these products here are good products. They all have huge advantages over not doing anything at all. But at the same time, they all have some limitations, including my new favorite system, the Grayl Ultralight. I want to talk to you about this filter and why I'm going to be taking this filter with me more than these others. But this has limitations. Boiling has limitations. As you'll see, it's kind of a game of chance when it comes to purifying your water, because you can never be 100% sure that you've gotten everything out of the water. The key is to try to eliminate as much of the risk as possible, and I think this filter does the best job of doing that. So if you're not able to boil, then you might want to consider some kind of a straw. Now, these straws are good in that they do remove giardia, they do remove cryptosporidium, they remove most bacteria. They're cheap, but they have disadvantages as well. They don't do a whole lot. I think this does 25 gallons, and these other filters are similar. Also, they're basically one-person filters. You're not going to be passing this around to other people so that they can get hydrated as well. That increases the chance of you catching something from the person that you're giving the water to, or vice versa. So there's a huge disadvantage. And another disadvantage is that they're designed to go into the water. And it's not always practical to lay down on your belly to try to reach a water source so that you can draw from this filter. So you need some kind of a container to be able to scoop out some water and use a filter like this. The other disadvantage is that they tend to clog very easily, and they need to be back flushed. Not difficult for a filter like this, but still, it's something that you have to do periodically, or you run the risk of clogging things up. Now, some of these filters have to be backflushed by means of another connecting piece. I personally don't like things that have a lot of pieces because I've already lost the one that goes with this filter. In fact, I lost it before I even got to use the filter, so I'll never use this filter, so this is money wasted as far as I'm concerned. A very popular system is the Sawyer. These are great filters, whether you're using the Squeeze or the Mini. These get rid of a lot of the things that this gets rid of, except for viruses. Viruses are very small. They're a lot smaller than bacteria or protozoa, so they get through these kinds of filters. The other problem I have, or issue I have with these filters is, going back to this where I lost the piece, this is not the only thing that you have to have with you. You need something to backflush it. If you're going to drink from a stream directly, you need a straw. You need a bag to collect the water. You need another bag to store the clean water if you want to go that route. So eventually, you have so many different things you have to keep track of. It gets problematic for me. You guys might not have these same issues, but I don't like to have to keep track of a lot of different things. So that's a huge disadvantage of these. Then you have these kind of bottle filters like the Katadyn Be Free or the Berkey Sport bottle. Katadyn works, the same way as this does basically. It's just a different design, but it does not filter viruses, and it seems to be a little bit more delicate than some of these other filters. For example, when you clean it, you can't run it under a tap this way because it'll damage the filter element. You have to swirl it this way or fill the reservoir with clean water and shake it or swirl it. So I don't know, you have to baby this filter more, so I tend not to use it because of that. I'm always afraid that I'm going to damage the filter element. A filter that I've used for a very long time, in fact this is more of a purifier than a filter, is the SteriPEN. And as you can see, my SteriPEN is pretty banged up. I've dropped it numerous times. The back case doesn't stay on anymore, and I've cracked the cover, but it still works, and it works very well. Now this will kill viruses, and it has the advantage of working very, very quickly. It takes about 90 seconds to do a liter of water, but it's a little bit problematic. Sometimes it's fiddly. You have to make sure that the elements here are very, very clean, or it won't go on. And it requires batteries. I have 4 lithium batteries in here. But the main problem with this is that it does nothing for the taste of the water. So if you scoop out some water from that beaver pond and you purify the water, you're killing everything that's in here. Actually, this doesn't kill it per se. It makes the organisms sterile so that when you consume them, they don't reproduce in your body. So it's effectively killing them, but you're still drinking them down. But what happens with this is, since it only affects the organisms that are in the water, you're drinking pond water and it's still going to taste like pond water. So it does nothing for the taste of the water. Now you can add a chemical filtration system like this, or a chemical treatment. This is chlorine dioxide. These tablets have the same chemical. So you would add 7 drops from bottle A, 7 drops from bottle B, wait till it turns yellow, pour it into the water, wait 5 minutes for it to turn yellow first, then pour it into the water, wait 15 minutes, and your water is pretty much safe to drink, and it tastes better. But chlorine dioxide does not work too well against Cryptosporidium. It does work, but it takes a long time. Minimum 4 hours, sometimes 8 to 10 hours if the water is very cold. So, good solution, but not the best solution. This does kill this chemical does kill most of the stuff in the water, and it improves the taste, but it doesn't quite get everything. That brings us to, I almost forgot, the Berkey. The Berkey Sport Bottle is a great filter. This filter element does take out viruses, it does take out chemicals in the water, and it lasts for, now I'm going by memory, I think it's 25 gallons. I'll have to check the literature. But it's got this bizarre system where it utilizes this pop-up straw. It's kind of hard to get the liquid out, and even if you want to transfer the liquid from one container to the next, it's a lot of squeezing. It's a lot of work to do that. So it has the same problem that some of these other filters have, in that it clogs up, and it's just too many working parts here that you have to keep, maintained in order for them to function properly. The one good thing is, if you had to, you could take this out and you could use it like one of the other filter straws, put it right into the water and drink like this. I've used it like that quite a bit. Now, a big disadvantage that these kinds of filters have also is that if you forget and leave them outside overnight and they freeze, they're done. You have to get rid of them. You can't thaw them out and then use them again. The filter element gets destroyed. This bottle, while it works on a similar principle, it can be frozen twice by accident. The third time, you have to throw it out. But that's not bad, because we all forget once, maybe we forget twice. If you forget the third time, then you deserve to lose your filter. But you're not throwing away the whole thing, just the filter element, which you replace. But let's get into a discussion as to why I think that this is the best of the bunch here. Not to say that I'm never going to use any of these others again, because again, there's no one ring to rule them all. You have to adapt to whatever situation you're going to be in, and use the product that is best for that situation. But I happen to like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, now if you're someone who counts all of their grams or ounces, you're not going to like this because it weighs 10 ounces. I'm not an ultralight hiker, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll carry the weight for what I get in return. What I do like about this bottle is, as you can see from this video that I'm actually using it out in the field, it's very fast, it's very easy to use, and you can use it as a container as well. And everything is integrated. I don't have to keep track of any other pieces. This is it. In addition, I can also use this bottle in an urban setting. I've actually taken this to work, and I've used it as a water bottle just to see what would happen. No one commented on it. Whereas if I were to bring this in and drink from this, or have this on my desk, I know that I would have people ask me, well, what is that? Why are you drinking from a baby bottle? So you can use this in an urban environment. It comes in different colors as well. So if the orange is problematic, you can get the green one. I don't think anyone would give this a second look, having it on the train, for example, on your commute to work. The other thing I like about this is that it's not just a water filter, it's a water purifier. So it removes all of the bacteria, the chemicals, the viruses, and it also improves the taste of the water, because there's another element in here, like a carbon element that the water passes through. So it actually tastes better. So that pond water is not going to taste like pond water. It's going to taste very, very good. And I'm amazed every time I use this filter as to how good the water tastes compared to a lot of these others that I've used. The Sawyer comes close. The Sawyer comes close as far as taste goes, but this is consistently giving me a good tasting water. Additional cons might be the fact that, well, it's $59.95 for the entire unit, and it does 40 gallons of water. Now, 40 gallons of water doesn't sound like a lot, but for weekend use, this would last me about 2 years. 40 gallons is actually quite a bit of water. And the filter elements themselves, because you don't replace the entire thing, you only replace the filter that's at the bottom. The filter element, I think at this time, is listing for about $25. Also sounds like a lot, but when you consider if you get 2 years of use out of it, you know, that's not a lot per year. Plus, the way I look at it, it's a lot cheaper than getting sick and having to make a visit to the emergency room. So I'm happy to pay for that peace of mind, and I'm happy to pay the initial $59 for what you get in return for this filter. So again, I'm not bashing any of these other products. They're all great products, and you know, I've used them over the years, and I'll continue to use them. But I think more and more I'm going to gravitate towards this Grayl Ultralight filter because it is so easy to use and because it does such a great job.